Hey y'all, it's Anime K-Man. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 9th episode of Kouya no Kotobuki Hikoutai. And this episode was pretty darn nice. Now, I'd say despite it kind of having a rushed feeling, at the very least it did well from a character standpoint because for one, some of the previous episodes have emphasized that Kylie is the best pilot in the crew. And I kind of like how this episode emphasized it because despite her pretty much operating this plane that's slightly armored and doesn't have powerful guns, she was able to take down 4 dudes that were piloting planes that had better weaponry and that were more armored. So at the very least, we finally got to see more instances of Kylie's piloting skills. So that's why I thought it did well from a character standpoint, because previous episodes have told us that, but this episode proved it to us visually. So nice job on the anime, showing and telling us stuff. Now, aside from that, I also like how from the character standpoint, I also like how it's showing Kylie mature, because just a few episodes ago, when you see Kylie in like hyper-tense situations, she's usually pretty much just does reckless, crazy shit, at least in the first episode. And I like how now she doesn't do that kind of stuff anymore. Now, at the very least, she calculates the situation more, and she doesn't do any reckless maneuvers when she's in, like, situations of great adversity. She, at least, is more calculative, which goes to show you that she's progressing character-wise, because the Kylie of a few episodes ago wouldn't be that calm and collective. So that was also another good element about this episode. And then, aside from the Kylie character development, we got also like how in this episode you have Kylie do some soul searching, which is pretty nice, and I like how she even emphasized it because a few weeks ago, one of the previous episodes also emphasized that she didn't really know necessarily what she wanted to do. So I kind of like that too, because at the very least it shows you again that she's maturing more mentally. And then I like how she contemplated what to do, and then I like how at the end she decides to stick with their crew. That was pretty nice too. It shows you that Kylie is a fleshed out character for the most part in this show, which is more than I can say for some of the other characters in this show, but she definitely is the life and blood of the show. So I love that. It makes Kylie much more likable than she already was. And I also like how it showed off Kate's brother too when he was hanging out with Kylie when they were flying and they were about to go towards these rings until they were attacked. I like how it even gave some characterization for him, because even though he's wheelchair bound, he's at the very least still got that fight in him when he was operating the gun to shoot down the planes that were attacking him and Kylie. And I kind of like that, to see his bravery. And I like how they even put in snippets of humor when he's like, I can aim better when I drink alcohol. And I was like, yo, I was thinking that is random as fuck, but I love it. So stuff like that gave this episode much life, and it made the dialogue lively. So that's why I thought I did great from the character standpoint. I'd say really the only complaint I could say is that Isao and Julia, and the conflict between Julia not wanting to join Isao's Brotherhood Union, it was something that I didn't enjoy in the episode because I just felt it was rushed. But for the most part, the character dynamics were successful. As for the story standpoint, what didn't sit well with me was they were mentioning how Julia didn't want to join Isao's union, but it would have been nice to at the very least get to see more details as to why she doesn't want to join. I mean, the anime didn't really do a good job of emphasizing the downsides of joining Isao's union or the upside, so I kind of wish they would have fleshed things out instead of just having this political angle out of nowhere. I mean, I guess it was somewhat emphasized in the previous episodes, but it wasn't fleshed out though. It was just given snippets and then boom, this thing is put right in front of our faces. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I like this kind of stuff in anime, but when it's fleshed out. So I'd say that's really the only complaint I have about this episode. And while it has a cliffhanger that this capital is going to be bombed, I really wish it would have emphasized this whole angle more as to why people don't want to join Isao, because he seems like a relatively nice guy, for at the very least for this conflict to have much more emotional But I guess it did a good job of making Isao as a guy that doesn't swim as clean as the previous episodes wanted us to believe. So at the very least, it has that going for it, and it makes him a infinitely more interesting character. It makes him an undeniably more interesting character. So I'll give the episode credit on that. So from a story standpoint, it did some things well, at the very least. At least introduced an endgame boss in the series. So I like that. That means there's going to be more emotional struggle. And I'd say the animation when it came to the CG was better than other episodes because Kylie was super expressive, and so was Kate's brother when they were flying. Obviously the scenery is beautiful as always, and then the 2D characters were animated pretty well. I wish every human character was 2D animation, but at this point it's a trait of Kouya at this point. But I still gotta emphasize it in each review because, well, it's still there. As long as it's there, I gotta mention it. So, but for the most part, animation was good. Art was pretty good. There wasn't anything off model. And I'd say, taking all these factors into consideration, I thought this episode was still above average, and I'm gonna rate it a 6 out of 10. I really wish the political angle was fleshed out more, but this episode still gave me enjoyment. So I still think it's a bit above average. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts in the comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later to subscribe for more. Alright, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.